Starting soon, that's what it says. Starting soon. How do you do, folks? Let's see if I can get this right thing here. How do you do, folks? Randy Amish Comic here. Mrs. Comic in the house, hanging out with you in the chat. It is special, trying to make Tuesday suck less on Wednesday edition. There's a couple of reasons why I didn't stream last night. There's a different schools of thought. I've been watching Ted Lasso, and when they have personal conflicts and they can't make it, and they don't say why, and they wind up saying, "Well, it's none of your fucking business." It's not really that, but that's how my brain works. Uh, I had a whole bunch of show business stuff to take care of. It sucked the life out of me. Sometimes I can wing it flying by the seat of my pants, and sometimes I can't, and I just wasn't feeling it. So here we go. Don't know who's in the house here tonight, but Richter wasn't with us last week because he studied for a test that he passed, I do believe. So congratulations to Richter. I am not shaven because of thunderstorm. Had to quit running the shower, and it's not one of those superstitions. I think you're not actually supposed to be in a shower when the thunderstorm comes, or even Amish or attracted to electric can get you. So I can't. I didn't shave, and you won't notice it, but there's little whiskers here that torment my mouth. So I'll be doing a lot of this shit tonight because that stuff is going to get after me. Um, so here we go, trying to make Wednesday suck less, I guess is what it is going on here. Uh, I don't have a lot of exciting themes for my show other than right here. We might get an appearance from Caesar the Crazy Cat. I put this up way too early because, well, I had a whole extra day to get ready, let's just face it. So, but Caesar likes to go behind this thing. He's not back there now. But if this thing starts to move, I could fucking scream and go nuts. I felt like I had so much to talk about, and then when I start my show, I see I don't have that much to talk about. So one thing I noticed is just I'm on a slightly weird angle right now because when I set up, I'm all excited and awake. And now I actually got comfortable, which will help me complain about a show that I don't want anybody to watch. It's Mrs. Comic and I like killy stuff. We like some of the travel shows when they go to weird places. We like the weird alien shows, ghost shows. There's a series on HBO called Strange Evidence, and the first few episodes are very interesting, very compelling. You get sucked in there. They got all kinds of weird shit, and they don't really solve anything for you. But when they speak, whoever they're talking to is on this angle. They won't look you in the eye because they know they're full of shit mostly. So I think that's why they don't look you in the eye. So if I broadcast that style, I would be looking here, and you would say, "Well, I'm full of shit," no matter if I look this way or that way. Here's what's wrong with that show, to my way of thinking. Mrs. Comic and I, we tracked through a couple seasons of something else where it was like abandoned things, and it turned out Hitler had like a lot of half-built bridges everywhere. So we kind of got sick of that because it was always uh, the bridge never got finished. Why didn't it get finished? And Mrs. Comic said, "Well, because Hitler lost the war, and that kind of knocked the production out of all the bridges Hitler was working on." So this show is called Strange Evidence. And why I don't want you to watch it now is that, first of all, Mrs. Comic, 9 out of 10 episodes, she can say what the thing is right away. They show you the creepy, weird thing at the beginning, and then they want to know uh, if it's something evil. It spins too much evil. And Mrs. Comic, they'll go, "Is this Satan's evil light coming down to suck the soul out of these people through demonic possessed slime worms?" Mrs. Comic will say, "Well, it might just be lightning after rain and worms were crawling around in the yard and the worms lit up. So we don't really believe it was Satan's slime worms being injected into us through weird light. And the thing that it is definitely thunder and lightning in that episode. And they actually, that's not even one of their theories. So they just fucking blow that off. And they had another one. There's all kinds of weird shit in the sky. Balloons have come a long way. Those mylar silver balloons, you can get those in any fucking shape you want. You can get them in the shape of a pizza. Well, that's round, so that's not that interesting of a shape. But you could get it in the shape of a cat, of a person, a tall person, a fat person, a person riding a bicycle. And one of those was in the sky, I believe, at night. And they said it was Jesus. Here comes Jesus. Here comes Jesus riding in on his bicycle in the sky. I don't know how they assumed right away it was Jesus, but they were starting to drive me fucking nuts. And then another one they said was, they were out and they were saying how this it was horrible. These evil water spike pellets that were sent from Satan to to pierce our skin and cut through our skin and take us straight to hell. But it turned out it seemed like it was mostly just rain. So we bailed out on that. It just was everything was Satan. It was Satan or an alien. And cars would flip over and shit. And Mrs. Comic would go, what probably drove into like a wire that you can't see, like a fallen wire. And then that would be it. It turned out it wasn't really Satan flipping the car over and trying to suck you down straight to hell. It was this wire that Mrs. Comic said was, you know, so they had a lot of that shit. So I'm telling you, don't watch that. I'm also telling you to celebrate this 2 minutes of rain that we got here. We're all trying to keep our plants alive and growing, and so I had an adventure with a garden hose. You see, if you go to somebody else's house, we went to our daughter's house, you don't know how all their stuff is supposed to work. Uh, I just yanked some hoses and I screwed them on, and they weren't home. I just said, oh, I'll stop on my way and I'll water these plants, and they're wahoo. And then you turn the thing on because you think you got it right, and water was flying out of every which way but loose. Uh, so that's always exciting. So if you even at your own house, you can do that. It's almost like Christmas lights. They worked last year, but this year you took one in the eye. So if you're struggling with a hose of any sort, you're not alone. And then just you can always just take it off and get another hose. So there's that going on. My exciting thing was a hose. Um, but now I'm going to show you something else here. I'm a big fan of dreams. Uh, Dreams while you're sleeping. I typically do not have nightmares. In fact, I sometimes have the ability to have self-healing therapy dreams. Whatever's driving me fucking nuts can be brought to justice in the court of dreams of my mind, and it's very satisfying. It's people I don't like. I get to bash them in the kneecaps with a baseball bat. The few nightmares that I've had, I can recollect them. Uh, the, okay, going back to the Bearman and Keith days, I used to take in award-winning chocolate donuts from the Emmaus Bakery, which really does not exist anymore. There's a bakery there, but in the heyday, an Emmaus Bakery chocolate donut was a really fucking big. It was the size of a small head, and you could die for them. These things were so fucking good that people at CZO, workers and shit, would come in and bring in mail like accidentally because they knew I was bringing these fucking donuts. Oh, I thought you guys would want to see the paper, and they're like, Baron, but get the fuck out of here! You knew Amish was bringing in these fucking donuts. These are the same donuts that Bearman let me feed him for 10 years before they told me he was diabetic and could possibly go blind from my donuts. So then I stopped bringing donuts in. I started to barbecue chicken for them. So in this dream, these donuts are not fucking good though. In this dream, I had one of these donuts left that I was saving for myself. I somehow I was working, which it's a fucking nightmare if I'm imagining that I have a job, and the donut was gone, and the worker who I didn't even know who the fuck it was, I said, "You ate my fucking chocolate donut. He said, I did not. And in the dream, he had a chocolate donut all over his fucking face, all over his hands, all over his desk. I lost my fucking mind. It sounds fucking stupid, but I was that fucking mad because it was not just that he ate my chocolate donut, it's that he fucking denied it while he was all fucking covered up with it. So that was a nightmare that I can still recall today. Another nightmare that I had was Mrs. Comic isn't really a beer drinker, but she will enjoy a beer now and again. And in this dream, also in this nightmare, I've dreamed that I mowed the lawn on a hot day, and for me that's already a nightmare. And I got one cold beer left in the fridge that I'm going to celebrate with after I mow the lawn. Come in and have this cold beer. And in the dream, I mowed the lawn, really fucking hot, and I came in. When I was gonna go get the beer, Mrs. Comic grabbed the beer first, opened it, chugged it, and crushed the can on her head. Now I woke up, I was really fucking mad. And even though I knew it was a dream, I was still fucking mad, which is the point of this rant. So sometimes have dreams that make us really fucking upset and anxious and scare the fuck out of us. And if we wake up, we know it was a dream, which sometimes makes us feel better, but sometimes we're still in a fucking shitty mood. I had last night a scorcher of a fucking hell of a fucking nightmare, and it's gonna sound really fucking boring, and I don't give a flying fuck. I felt like I didn't even have a night's sleep. I felt like I got cheated. I had a whole fucking night's sleep. You ever have a nightmare like that where you wake up and then you go, well, that's no fucking fair. That fucking piece of shit fucking nightmare took my whole fucking night of sleep. I don't even feel like I got any sleep. Then you want to go back to sleep, and then the nightmare might just start up again anyway. So in this particular nightmare, I believed I had a job of somehow being a spy who wore a suit, a nice suit. And it wasn't like a James Bond spy where I was jumping out of buildings. I had a mission. And my mission was was given a note, and I had to what was my name? It was a name that I got from Gavin and Stacy. Declan. My name was Declan something, but I lost the note that had my alias on it, my itinerary, the phone number I was supposed to call, and the person's name, and the information I was trying to fucking suck out of them. All I knew that I was Declan. In the nightmare, somehow I could make the call. And that don't make any fucking sense. That's how dreams are. How can I make the fucking call if I lost the fucking number? But the dream doesn't give a flying fuck. It let me make the call, and I made the call too early. So I was supposed to call at 2. I was so panicky that I called before 2, but that kind of seemed okay when the person that answered the phone was a little pissed off that I called them. That's probably why, because I shouldn't have called before 2. And they said, who is this? And I said, Declan. And he said, Declan who? I said, I don't know. I fucking said that. So I'll tell you that. He said, what do you mean you don't know? I don't know because I lost the note. So that tells you that I'm a shitty spy because you wouldn't say that you had a note saying what your fucking name was. So this went on the whole night. It just fucking drove through. It just tortured me to madness. Then I had to report back to other people. How did the mission go? And it didn't fucking go that well because I lost the fucking note. I didn't even know Declan. I didn't know my name. I didn't know the fucking mission. And I woke up and I was fucking stressed the fuck out. Thought I was getting fired from a spy job that I didn't even fucking know I had. I didn't know Declan was I didn't know my last name, Declan. I was really fucking upset. So what happened next was when you have this dream state and you wake up and you're still fucking worked up about it, and it was kind of on the late side of Mrs. Comic, has lovely exchanges with our children in the morning on text messages and all that shit, and our daughter Josie, who's down the road, sent her a video picture of a finch going into their hummingbird feeder, and that's the kind of level of fun. Hey, look, there was a finch in the hummingbird feeder. So I was still nuts of my failed Declan mission. Now our daughter Lizzie's partner's name is Vince, and the word finch sounds a lot like the word Vince if you just came off a Declan mission. So I heard Mrs. Comic say, Josie sent me a video of Vince drinking out of the hummingbird feeder. And I went, what the fuck was Vince doing down there drinking out of the fucking hummingbird feeder? My brain did not even allow the idea that I heard it wrong. I just lost my fucking mind. Mrs. Comic laughed so long that she couldn't even fucking breathe. And all the while she was laughing because I said Vince, I heard Vince and not Finch. So I was still hanging. I was still hanging by a thread on this fucking story while she laughed at my dumb ass hearing Finch as Vince. So that's pretty much the end of that story. Well, I was relieved to find out that Vince did not actually, our daughter's partner, travel down to Westchester area and drink out of the hummingbird feeder. And my brain was also, I'm there, well, why in the fuck didn't she ask him what he's doing? Why would she just film him and send it up to you? Oh, this is the kind of shit that's wrong with me. So now that got me thinking about more dreams, and I'm going to show you something right now, because is Richter in the house? Richter, if you're in the house, what's funny is this, is that Richter loves David Lynch and Twin Peaks. He knows we do, and so he sends me different things. Yesterday, Richter sent me a David Lynch thing that's awesome. I gotta show you, Mrs. Comic. But what's funny is that he sent it to me right before I actually messaged him that I wasn't going to be streaming live Tuesday night. And the David Lynch thing is about, it's David Lynch going, it doesn't matter if the world's fucked up and nuts, you have to just do your thing. Do your thing. So I got this thing from Richter, a pep talk from David Lynch about doing my thing even though the world was fucked up, right after I said I wasn't going to do my thing. So thanks for that fucking guilt trip. And I kind of blame that on the fucking dream that I had. That's the shit behind a fucking Declan. This is Richter's bullshit, sending me a nice Lynch thing, and it fucked me up when I was on a Declan mission because I felt like I wasn't prepared. So that brings me to my love of Twin Peaks, and there's a lot of dreams going on in Twin Peaks from the old series of season 3. Is also, let's see here, I gotta show you this. Another thing you gotta know is that when I do these live streams, I really love doing them, and I'm very comfortable. When I started doing this at the top of the pandemic, March of 2020, I didn't have a muse, and so my actual muse for the live stream show is right there, Dr. Amp. That's Dr. Jacoby. He's got a live stream show that he does, and he's fucking nuts, and he has notes and scripts and everything, and it's fantastic. And he tries to have people try to think for themselves, and he even has a thing where, let's see, where is it? Bibbidi bobbidi boo, I know it's in here. He has a thing for $29.95. You can shovel yourself out of the shit. That's his merch. That's great fucking merchandise right there. So now, to tag on to that story, is when this thing came out on my birthday, 2017, we got for gifts, because the family loves Twin Peaks, I got a little shovel yourself out of the shit shovel necklace for our daughter. And then Mrs. Comic said, other daughter would like to have one of those too. So I ordered a second one 20 minutes later, and it was late when I ordered it, and they only fucking sent one. And then finally, when I asked them about it, I messaged them. I said, I ordered 2 of these things, and you only sent me one. And they said, well, you ordered the second. It's a weird item, and you ordered the second one like a couple minutes after. It wasn't even 20 minutes. You ordered the second one after the first one within 3 or 4 minutes. So we thought you drunk ordered it. The motherfuckers just assumed nobody would order fucking 2 shovel yourself out of the shit shovels that I fucking drunk ordered it. So eventually we got it. So there was that. But now we're moving into Twin Peaks season 3, where there's all kinds of dream shit going on there. Um, let's see here. Where are we going? Okay, so I don't know how to tell you to get to watch Twin Peaks season 3 because you really need to watch seasons 1 and 2. It's a big commitment. But I'm telling you, that is Belushi and another actor. They're the Mitchum brothers, and Belushi has a dream, and he can't remember what the fucking dream is. He has his own Declan dream, and if until they decode this whole thing, it's absolutely fucking incredible shit going on there, and it really comes down to if they're gonna whack someone. So right there, you see a teeny tiny little uh, Agent Cooper in the background there. It's a spoiler. If you've seen it, you'll know, and if you haven't seen it, till you get to this in the series, you won't fucking remember anyway. That's Agent Cooper back there, but he's like an autistic savant. His name is Dougie Jones, and he's holding in that box a cherry pie is in that fucking box, and that's what the fucking dream was about. And Belushi's got him by the head there, and he's telling him if there's this one thing in that box, we can't fucking kill him. And then he whispers it, and it turns out it's a cherry pie. And I've just ruined it for everybody. If you watch it, they don't actually shoot Agent Cooper. And you wouldn't want Agent Cooper to be shot. But Belushi's got him by the fucking head there. It's an amazing scene. Belushi is also a comedian, and he improvised some shit, and he got in trouble with David Lynch. And Kyle MacLachlan told a story about Belushi getting hell from Lynch for improvising, and he did the megaphone. He goes, Mr. Belushi, stick to the script. Okay, so but there's a dream sequence there, and that happens to us a lot, Mrs. Comic and I, because we love Twin Peaks and we love certain shows and stuff. And then when that stuff kind of happens in life, it's fun to connect the dots. Enter Caesar. Now we're going back to Twin Peaks season 3. Let's see, here we go. All right, now. So the Mitchum brothers, the gangsters, have these 3 blonde helpers dressed in pink. That's Candy. She seems a little slow, but she's in charge of helping them out. There's a fly on that gangster's head, and she's looking all around. I gotta show you this right here. So Candy is looking all around for the fly. You know how you look for a fly, and it winds up it's on his head, and she picks up a remote control and fucking clocks him senseless, and blood's flying, and she's crying and screaming and going fucking nuts. And the reason I tell you this story is that Caesar kind of did that to me. Caesar clocked me with a remote control to kill a fly that was on me, so we had our own Twin Peaks moment there. Now that brings me to another ramble here. The cat owners will tell you this: if it's, especially if it's nighttime, lighting, and if there's a fly flying around and you don't actually know that, and your cat's doing weird shit like this, our default guess is ghosts or Sparky cockatiel spirit flying around tormenting Caesar. Occasionally it's a fly, and that's what happened. And my socks, I got my socks here. Caesar will love to start a game with my socks, and so that's where he was. And by surprise, he leaped up. He was at my sock. He leaped up and he dove and stabbed into this part of my leg because the fly was there. And so that would be, I mean, he wasn't actually holding a remote control, but it probably would have hurt less because he has claws if he actually would have been holding a remote control. So these stories mostly only make sense to me and Mrs. Comic, but so that was our reference there. I'm going to show you Caesar's driving us nuts here. Like I said, what the heck was he doing here? Now this brings me to something else. Okay, there's Caesar. I think you can hear TV.
And covering the decapitated.
So the point of that is if you can hear the TV, I can't hear it, but if you can hear it, if you can hear the TV in the background on that clip, you will be reminded of how many times watching something on TV fucked up a cute cat video, because that was one where we were watching the Satan theories thing, and so the cat's rolling all around, and then you send it around to the family. You don't realize that Satan's spawn in the slugs is in the background there. So when you make your cute cat videos and shit, just double check the background in case, you know, maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want that sort of murder in there. I don't really know. So let's see here. I probably ran out of shit to talk about way too early, but there you have it. Let's see, screens. Don't watch that. There's. It's really hard to beat the Vince was drinking out of the hummingbird feeder and having me believe it, and that's what's kind of hard to believe right there. Let's see here. There. Boom, boom, boom. Thunderstorms. See, blackout. Oh! Here's another thing. Drove me fucking nuts. So, Mrs. Comic and I like our privacy. And so we're out here. People walk. We're on a walk route and all that shit. So a few years back, I got blackout curtains, and we like whoop, they go down, and they're really fucking nice, and they were mildly expensive for a shade. That's what they are, and they're good quality. And I just got them at a local hardware store, and they possibly were $80 a pop, and but they're really good quality. And you just pull them suckers down, and you can do blackout the room, and it actually has little pinholes, so some light gets through. But they're actually really nice. And Caesar sees shit out the back window like Bearcat. And also, I don't know if I get to tell you, Caesar started getting in. There's a cardinal back there that goes on Bearcat's picnics. I'm sure I didn't tell you about this. So Caesar's all worked up. When he's in that window and we hear him saying shit, we assume it's Bearcat. But this was kind of different. There's a cardinal back there. They must have a nest somewhere because his birds are screaming and going nuts. So this picnic table, Caesar's looking out the window, doing the challenge, and I looked out to see if it was Bearcat. And it was the fucking cardinal on the picnic table giving Caesar attitude like, yo bitch, stay the fuck in the house. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The cardinal wasn't just running around, it was staring at Caesar and giving him fucking attitude. And the stupid motherfucker didn't even put his wings up. Sparky wanted to be intimidating. She Dracula wings. That fucking stupid cardinal was pretty brave with Caesar on the other side of the glass. So I wanted to get a blackout curtain for Caesar for this back room. So I went. I was very excited, and they didn't have black shade. But I thought gray. The gray is okay, and it's in this other room, so it really didn't have to match. So I brought this thing home, and for me to drive to a hardware store and buy a thing and then install it, that's worse than having a Declan fucking spy job. I like to just fucking relax and read and do creative shit. So that's a fucking chore for me. So, and the thing wasn't cheap. It was like $69, but that's our little guy, and it's gonna be. Plus, we want it to be nice, and that's not even really a lot of money for a shade. I don't know, but so, and the gray was nice. And as I unrolled it here, the 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 back of it was white, of gray fabric. Blackout curtain was white on one side for it looked like a fucking mental institution patient. And when you have a shade and it rolls, the back of it is at the top. So there's going to be this big fucking white strip at the top to make this look like a fucking crazier house than it is. So fuck that shit in a bucket of goo. I am taking it back. And when I took it back, you have to say why you're taking it back. And I said, this blackout shade in gray should have never been made. It's a fucking terrible product, and it's white on the back. And even the person there said, well, that's the fucking dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. So they just took it back. So now when I go to look for a blackout shade, I gotta make sure it's the same fucking color on both sides. I won't seem too fucking nuts to the guy at Lowe's when I ask him that. Because that's probably the only fucking thing in the whole world that has that. So, and this is the same day. Now, I still, if I come home with nothing, I have not solved Caesar's problem with needing to get some peace and quiet from Bearcat and the Cardinal that wants to beat the fuck out of him because it's too stupid to know the cat would fucking rip him to pieces. So I don't have it solved. So I'm going off in the world. I'm going down 309 and I went to a TJ Maxx and I went to there's a home store down there and I hit a Lowe's down there and I hit all these different stores and I couldn't find fucking nothing. So I went to a store that I hardly ever go to, Walmart. And at Walmart, I got a really kind of cool but really cheap, deep dark blue blackout curtain. It's not a shade, it's a curtain. And then I had to get the stupid pole, which I hate, and I picked the wrong fucking size pole. So when I got home, this was already fucking. I left at noon. It was now fucking 5 o'clock in the day, and I come home with the wrong fucking size pole. That's my fault. But I gotta just fucking eat some supper and then take it to the closer Walmart and fucking exchange it and get the right size pole. By 7 o'clock at night, I had that fucking problem solved good enough, and it actually looks pretty cool. Cost us about $22, but it fucking whole day off my life, a whole fucking day gone, 7 fucking hours, to just put up something so the cat wouldn't see another cat or a fucking bird. It might have been better to get Caesar like dark uh, solar eclipse glasses fucking put on or something. Did you ever do that? Have something that should take you just like a half hour or whatever, take the whole fucking day. And when that happens though, I like to solve it. If I'm gonna fucking lose a day, I need to have it at least partially solved. So that was part of my adventure right there too. And also because I put this up today, Caesar figured out it can go behind this curtain, and later in the day it found out it could go behind the curtain that I put up, so it wouldn't see the shit. It just knows now, oh, we can go behind curtains. Thanks a lot for helping me out. So now after all that, Caesar can go behind the blackout curtain that's there, so it can't see the shit on the other side. That's how we roll, man. That is how we roll in the hood. That's how we do it, right there. Let's see here. Oh, this again. It's the thing about pets. Uh, Caesar's fantastic. He's big. He's adorable. He protects us. He explores things. When you have cats, sometimes they just terrorize everything right away. Caesar is exploring in increments. And in this other room, I've got stuff, career stuff, and we've got some knickknacks laying around. We heard what I call a soft crash. Caesar got up onto like a hutch that was kind of sort of hidden because I had a coat rack in front of it and some other shit. I'm moving stuff around, and it was that soft crash where you go, well, we have to go see what it was, but it wasn't the panic crash. And then I couldn't find him right away because he's very good with his head and his front, these things, arms, whatever the hell they are. I guess they all have legs. The front cat thing should be arms, but I think they're all technically legs. The four legs, but to my way of thinking, the front things are arms. And so it was in there, and its ass was way up higher, knocking all the knickknacks around. So we could get an adventure there. So we solved that. Yeah, that's all my excitement. I actually thought the Vince Finch story was going to be way fucking longer than it was. I actually thought that was going to happen there. So I hope you're all having a great week. Sorry about last night, and then again, Mrs. Comic is so nice around 7:15 when I told her that I wasn't going to be doing the live stream because I was trying to figure out if I could do it. She goes, "Well, did you post anything? Did you make an announcement?" I'm like, "No, I'm a dick. I just figured I won't fucking do it, and I won't tell anyone because I'm a dick." That was Mrs. Comic being polite and saying, are you doing this as a dick would do it, or are you going to just announce that you're not doing it? So then I reached out to uh, Clee's sister and Richter, uh, because they depend on me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going out on a limb and say they depend on this show happening. Richter doesn't give a flying fuck if I sit here and insult him for an hour. He doesn't give a flying fuck. Clee's sister, lover, look forward to it. So then I realized I should have posted, but I apologize for not posting. Today I kind of forced myself to do it and was hoping also that nothing would call me away at the last minute like an actual real Declan spy mission, because sometimes that happens and you just gotta fucking go. But so here we are. No other real excitement to report. Um, I do want to whip a show together uh, that focus on the Ireland trip. I think it's time to relive the Ireland trip, and I actually, when I do that, I want to go from getting the passports process to all the way getting to Ireland and home again. And a little bit of a teaser story there is if you're getting a passport and you don't have one, check your birth certificate, because Mrs. Comic organized. She did all the research as she sent for copies of birth certificates from me. I didn't have one handy, and she knew everything we had to do. But on her Mrs. Comic's birth certificate didn't have her parents' name on it. Years ago, you didn't have to have them on there, and you can't get a birth certificate. You can't get a passport if you have a birth certificate that doesn't have your parents' name on it. Now, if you go through the channels, it takes 187 weeks to get that, or you can drive to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and they'll do it right before your very eyes for like 10 fucking dollars. So if you don't have a passport and you're getting one and your parents are not on your birth certificate, you will be making a trip to Scranton. Ha! How about that? Uh, so that's all my excitement here for the week. How's everybody doing? Any questions out there? Questions, comments, requests? The show's come to a screeching halt. Let's see. I thought I had one other thing, but I think I always think that.
You're gonna be in Altoona.
Am I going to be doing what?
You're gonna be in Altoona if you want to.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be in Altoona. That was the excitement of my week, really. Altoona show. I did shows in Altoona years ago, and then that people that ran them, everything went nuts. And so it's going back to Altoona for the Saturday show coming, and I'm dealing with new people out there, and the show wasn't selling that well, and they were panicking and freaking out. But also, they weren't selling tickets online. It's another show I didn't babysit. I was trying to explain to them that in this day and age, people don't really want to travel to the venue to pick up a ticket before it's the night that the show's there, especially if it's general admission. So I believe the show will sell. We got to sell some tickets online, and that's what I've been doing. So I've launched that. I had to launch those online, and so I'm looking forward to the Altoona show now. All systems go. It's selling pretty darn good for a show that's almost in July. So if you're in Altoona, check out me Saturday night at the Altoona Grand Hotel. I think I've pissed and moaned about Altoona in recent times, so I will save that for another time. And then end of July, the last Friday in July, is Emmaus Theater Show. You can get tickets online for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Nothing like a show in the theater. And then in August, I'm somewhere. See, the thing is, when I travel, when I have these shows and stuff, we are the family pet watchers, and so when I have a really far away trip, that kind of knocks us out of pet watching for the family that weekend. So things get a teeny tiny little bit tricky there, and one of those conversations came up today, and Mrs. Comic said that she believed that the one weekend I had a really, really far trip away, and the way I heard it was kind of like Finch and Vince. I mean, so you're saying I said this is the farthest I've ever gone for a show? She totally didn't fucking say that. She totally didn't fucking say it, but that's how my fucking brain heard it. I'm like, what do you mean that's just the farthest I'm ever going? No, she, and I said something similar. It's the farthest I will have driven to a show in a very long time. So she was absolutely correct. I went nuts, as covered before. One of my default settings is when things go wrong is we're fucked. And I realize we're hardly ever fucked. It's just one of those things. So that's coming up. I post these shows on my Facebook page. I hardly ever go on there. So if you get a chance to see me wherever the heck I'm going to be, Emmaus, that's right here. I always say I can walk to that show, and I never do because I'm a lazy ass. And Altoona is way the fuck out there. That's all the excitement that's going on right now. Somebody wants to interview me for a like a mini series show. I want to do it, but I'm a little also skeptical because like it doesn't exist yet. So that's kind of weird. And in defense of them, it's actually kind of good that it doesn't exist because when you're doing a project, it's a filming project. You want to have all the things ready before you start to edit, and that would be one of the things that have to be ready. So I'm trying to figure out if this seems like a thing that's going to suck batshit balls or not. So I have to look at all these fucking clips, which I should have been looking at tonight. In fact, I told this guy that I would send him a link to my live stream show for Tuesday night, and I didn't fucking stream Tuesday night. So there might be a gray area as to whether he even wants me in this fucking series or not. So, but in defense of him, trying to pitch a comedian on a series that doesn't exist, that's a tall ask. So he sent me some other interview clips, and I should be looking at those, but I don't really want to look at them. Watching comedians get interviewed is a tremendous fucking nightmare. It basically is. It's a tremendous nightmare. Um, I don't think anybody really cares how anybody got fucking started, and all comedians have a story, and you just want to be fucking entertained. You want some fucking crazy shit to happen. You want bourbon balls flying around. You want cats running around this way and that. You want exciting shit. You don't give a flying fuck about people's backstory, but that's another reason I have a lot of trouble watching stand-up comedy specials, uh, because in defense of me, this is my job. It's what I do. I love what I do. But if you had to watch like an HBO special about your job, you would lose your fucking mind. You would lose your fucking mind. They'd be assholes. They'd be they'd suck at their job. They'd be getting way more fucking money than you get, and that would fucking piss you off. Watching a TV show about somebody doing your fucking job, making a metric fuck ton of money doing a shitty job at your fucking job is something that I don't want to fucking get involved with. I just don't want to do it. In fact, years ago, and very so politely, when our daughter was here and little, they politely convinced me to stop watching them. It started like uh, Lizzie would say, "Uh-oh, he's gonna watch an HBO comedy special," and then that would put them in alert mode. But then they actually sort of had like an intervention, and I just realized I would be much fucking happier to just not watch these things. Although I do mock the, I should bring that back on my show. Quiet. That's it. I should. You're not the boss of me. So I like the it's in if you watch the very first season, the pilot of Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm, they're trying to pitch his story to launch a stand-up comedy thing, and they want to have all this backstory and all this weird shit, and he doesn't want to fucking do it. He wants to cut right to the stand-up comedy special, and that cracks me up too, because that's what they do when you get those specials. They always make it seem like the comedian doesn't really know that his HBO special is that night, and that's how it starts. And it'll be like the guy will be on the train, he'll be on the subway, and he'll be writing jokes on a napkin like he don't really give a fuck. And then the thing stops, and the thing opens up, and he gets out, and it's like fucking Carnegie Hall, and he goes, "Oh, it's that night," and then he walks into fucking thunderous applause. That's not how fucking cool comedians are. If you have a fucking HBO special at Carnegie Hall, you don't just sit fucking calmly and take a fucking subway there and make jokes on a napkin and go, "Oh, is that tonight? Oh, it's lucky I wrote this new thing on a napkin." We are fucking nuts. We are fucking time bombs. We're pacing. We're not fit to be around. We do weird fucking shit. We're just, oh, we need to be fucking sedated. We need to be put in basements. We need bourbon balls. We need to have people understand we're not really fit to be around. We are cats being scared by fucking cardinals. That's what we fucking are. That's a special that I would watch myself. And the other thing I used to mock in my show, and I might do it again, is I love Chris Rock, but he's the master of the thing that I'm going to mock. That thing where they walk across the stage back and forth as though I really don't know why they do it. I don't really like trying to tell a story while I'm power walking across. If I took a walk around a block and I'm starting to tell stories and shit, I probably do. But that thing that comedian walk back and forth is one of the dumbest fucking things, especially since you're not really there to see the visual of the comedian. You are and you're not. But it's not like if you're sitting over here and then Chris Rock is over here, you go, "Oh my God, he's over here. He's right there. He's right. His foot is right there near me." And then people on the other side are going, "Oh, they're lucky. He's way the fuck over there. I wish he would come over here so we could see him closer." And that's just the fucking front anyway. The whole rest of the theater's fucked. It doesn't matter. The whole rest of the theater is in the flying fuck if he's over here or if he's over there. I don't understand that fucking power walk back and forth. And the nighttime television comedians do that, but they do it front and back. Jay Leno, what the fuck is it with the stand-up comedian walk and strut? I mean, if I'm gonna do that, I might do it. Maybe I'll fucking do it at the Manus Theater, but I'll just instead of just walking across the stage, I'll walk around a whole fucking room. Maybe I'll walk down the street and then I'll see. I wonder if the theater can uh, uh, FaceTime me so that on the screen, so I can actually leave the fucking theater and walk around the Emmaus, and they can see me in the theater on the big screen FaceTiming the show back to them. That's a fucking comedian's walk. I might do that. It's actually probably a really dumb idea. So anyway, that's gonna be a wrap for this show this week. I love yous. Mrs. Comic loves yous. Thanks for tuning in. I hope we made your Tuesday suck less on Wednesday, or your Wednesday suck less than your normal Wednesday would be. I don't know if you can trust anything I say now, so I will tell you that I'll be back next week streaming live Tuesday night. But who the fuck would believe me now after I'm streaming live on Wednesday to make your Tuesday suck less? I wouldn't trust that shit at all. Thanks for tuning in. Don't be a dick to each other. Come to Altoona and come to the Mass Theater show. That's going to be a wrap. I'm going to leave you with Ask My Muse, Dr. Amp. Wait, oh, don't go away. Wait, I'm still here. Okay, again, this is inside storytelling here. These are what we call Dr. Jacoby glasses. Now, Mrs. Comic and our daughter tried so hard to find me a pair of Dr. Amp, Dr. Jacoby glasses. This is the red and blue, and he couldn't fucking do it. This was for a birthday gift, I think probably when Twin Peaks came out in 2017. So they opted to get me a pair of the red ones and a pair of the blue ones, and we were going to cut them and then solder them together. We couldn't cut these fuckers to save our lives. We could still, so that's still on my hit list. I want to get Dr. Jacoby glasses, but the inside reference is this: is that David Lynch has such an impact on the entertainment world. There's a show that we like. I'm doing a rewatch now. Fringe. It's alternate universe. It's really great stuff. It's really a lot of fun. And Walter uh, is the genius of the thing, but he's also nuts. And he spent a lot of his time in a mental institution, and he's out now trying to solve crimes and figure out how to get to the other universe. And he has a pair of these Dr. Jacoby glasses he's wearing in an episode, and the people in the lab reference that those are kind of some weird glasses, and he goes, "Well, I got these from a friend of mine in Seattle, Dr. Jacoby." That is a fucking amazing reference and shout out to Twin Peaks and David Lynch. And Walter seems exactly like the kind of person who would know Dr. Jacoby. And that is why when I play Pokemon Go, my trainer that is to represent me is actually wearing Dr. Jacoby, Dr. Amp sunglasses, and I can never replace them. So it's a shout out. Anyone playing Pokemon Go and sees me with those glasses, they're not going to go, "Oh, look, Dr. Amp, Dr. Jacoby, fringe glasses." But I know, and you know, and Mrs. Comic knows. That's officially the end of my show.